Hello, bleeders. Welcome back to Quality Check. And this is one that I didn't want to see. Did not. And I actually originally wanted this to be the first episode of Quality Check because of how bad the movie was. But shit came up and I had to push it back, and I'm doing it late. So let's talk about Cabin Fever. Or, to be specific, let's talk about the fact that they decided to do a reboot, or remake, if you will, of Cabin Fever. And if you've seen the original Cabin Fever, then you know this movie is completely and utterly pointless. Because, as bad as that movie is, and Jesus Christ, it is fucking bad, it had a point. There was a logic to it. Eli Roth, shit that he is, set out to make a stupid gore fest. That was his intent with the original Cabin Fever. He has told us as much repeatedly. And the trend has continued ever since throughout his career and throughout the Cabin Fever series. Now, if you take away the funny parts of Cabin Fever, you just have the gore and the annoying characters. Well, guess what? That's basically what the remake is. It is the funny parts gone poof. And it has left us with nothing but annoying, irritating characters in the same exact situation. Characters that you don't give a shit about, but you're stuck with until the film is over. Now, I know the question's going to come, why I didn't do a written review of this movie. Now, the answer to that is very simple. I haven't done any of the Cabin Fever movies, but I have had them requested. You guys have literally requested every single film. But not this one. No, this one's too new. I mean, it's been out for a little while now, but it's too new for most of you to even know it exists. I think a lot of people tried to forget this movie existed. I wish I could forget this movie existed. This movie is awful. I don't mind a gore movie. I don't. I grew up on horror movies. One of my childhood favorite film of mine. It's probably easily one of my top 20 movies of all time, is Evil Dead 2. I'm a huge fan of gory movies. I have an Evil Dead poster on my wall. It's back there, you see it? Yeah. It's right next to that poster for another movie that a lot of people don't like. Fuck. Alright, we're gonna fix the camera. Let's not destroy everything. Alright. So, bearing that in mind, I'm going to say something. I don't want just gore to carry a movie. A movie needs more than people dying horribly. There needs to be a compelling story. There needs to be... At the very least, there needs to be characters you can give some sort of a shit about. I don't care about these characters. Just like I really didn't care about most of the characters in the original movie. Even though this movie was not expressly made by Eli Roth, it still feels like an Eli Roth movie in that it's a bunch of idiots in the woods or somewhere partying and looking to get laid. That is it. That is the entire fucking premise. Does the world really need this again? Do we? Have we learned nothing? Has there been no growth beyond? Jesus fucking Christ. I was born in 1983. I grew up through some of the best horror films ever made, in my opinion. I grew up in that sweet spot of 80s slasher films and creative horror films, directors and artists pushing things to the boundaries. I got to see the, CGI come up from the ground up and creative new ideas come. I got to cut my teeth on movies that most kids' parents would never let them watch, but my parents are really cool and they let me watch things. So I got to see shit that a lot of people would never see until they reached adulthood. When I was a child, I got to see Cannibal Holocaust. Last House on the Left. These are movies that I cut my teeth on as a child. Cabin Fever is not a horror movie in the sense of a horror movie is supposed to... If anything, a horror movie is supposed to be. Cabin Fever is a horror movie in that watching it, knowing that I'm going to watch it, knowing that I did watch it, that was horrifying. The idea that I'm going to have to suffer through another one of these, that is horrifying. Not the people dying, not the act of them dying, not the situation, none of that's scary, just knowing that I have to watch it. That was the only fear I had. I don't recommend the movie. I really don't. I know you'd expect me to break down the plot, but what do I say? There's no plot. It's a bunch of stupid people in the woods partying until something terrible happens. They get a horrible flesh-eating disease and they yell, "Die!" Oh boy. How original. Yeah. I get it. I do. I get it. They want to use the same formula. They do. But it would have been nice if, I don't know, they tried something different. Maybe tried writing actual characters. Maybe give us something. Normally I don't like an explanation of things. Like disease. Where's the disease come from? Nothing got on my nerves worse than the Walking Dead TV show trying to explain where the virus came from. That was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen on that show. Next to certain characters getting killed off and another character acting in a way that did not befit her at all. But I would have loved for them to at least try explaining where the fuck this disease came from. Something. Anything. Some kind of story to crawl into this piece of shit to save me from having to sit through more of the same fucking mediocre bullshit. Oh my god, it hurts my brain. And I had to suffer through this alone. I don't have Cameron here anymore. I can't make him suffer with me. He can choose not to watch a movie. I still had to watch this. And I'm here talking to you about it. Yeah. So... yeah, fuck shit, man. I just... don't watch this movie, please. Please don't watch it. I should just sit here for 20 minutes and beg you to never watch the Cabin Fever remake. It is a waste of time. I've wasted my complete time. I wasted the runtime of that film. That is an entire film's worth of time that I wasted on seeing something that was worse than a terrible film that it's a remake of. Do you realize how bad a movie has to be for me to say that it's worse than an Eli Roth movie? It's worse than an Eli Roth movie. Eli Roth, I hate his movies. I hate him. I've watched every single film he's made. None of them have any kind of factor that makes me want to rewatch them. They're terrible, terrible fucking movies. Hate them. Hate them. Hate them. I'm sorry. I fucking hate them. I wish Roth would prove me wrong and do something different, but he is not. I thought he was going to try to with the Green Inferno, but it was just a fucking a Cannibal Holocaust ripoff that, instead of an homage, I would have loved an homage. He didn't do an homage. He just took Cannibal Holocaust and put his shitty fucking characters in the goddamn middle of it. That's not what this is about. I'm not talking about the Green Inferno yet. And that won't be here. That'll be a proper review with lots of pretty pictures and jokes. I don't have jokes in me today. This movie's so disappointing. Nah, it's not even the right word. I can't say I'm disappointed in the movie because I try not to be biased when I go in a movie. I really do. I put all my effort into not being biased in a film. I even avoided trailers for this movie because I didn't want anything to possibly make me think that this movie was going to be a piece of shit. But there was always that nagging notion, that suspicion, that there was no way this was going to turn out well. But I hoped that another director, another writer, could possibly take the original concept of people alone in the woods in a cabin getting a flesh-eating disease and could possibly make it compelling beyond it being a bunch of unlikable characters dying horrible deaths because of their own stupidity. Didn't work out that way. Just got a whole bunch of regret. Whole bunch of regret. I paid money to see this. Yeah. I wasted time and I wasted money to see this. Don't watch this movie. Please. Please don't watch this movie. I often say that you should watch a movie and make your own decision. I only offer recommendations based on my opinion in the hopes that, you don't blame me. Like, you won't come back and say, well, you didn't tell me not to watch it. Like, well, you know what? I'm not here to tell you what to not to watch. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you how I feel and for you to make up your own mind. But I'm going to break that just this one time and say don't watch this movie. You will regret it. It is... I just don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm just going to just keep saying it's a waste of time because that's all it is. It really is. And somehow I feel like this video will be a wasted effort because I know a lot of you are still going to fucking... If anyone even watches this video, you're still probably going to go watch the movie. If out of nothing more than curiosity. How could a movie bother me so much? Well, if you've watched all the other Cabin Fevers and you knew of Eli Roth, like you knew Eli Roth's films, then you'd know. Felix knows. And James knows. Yeah, I just name dropped you guys. How's that make you feel? But I can't protect you. It's up to you. So, my final judgment regarding Cabin Fever 2016 is that it is a steaming pile of excremental bullshit that should not exist, and it was a complete and utter waste of mine and everyone else's time. I hope there are no more Cabin Fever movies, but I have a feeling there probably will be, and they probably will be straight to video, because why not? Yeah, there you go. That's all I got. Have a good day there, bleeders. Bye-bye.